are saving you all a trip to the vet because today Dr. Courtney Campbell is in the house answering your questions, your pressing questions about your pets. Welcome back, man.
Thank you.
We love having you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
You are so great, and that's why we wanted to get questions from our viewers to ask you because they agreed, and we're going to jump right in.
The internet has the best questions. They really do. Yes.
Well, there we go. Here we go. Let's start with one from Lucy Bennett, Los Angeles, California, a local. She writes, I feed my 4-year-old Rosie 2 times a day, but she always looks at me like she's still hungry and wants treats. How do I know when my dog is full?
You know, that is a really good question because people are, that's the most fun time is when you're feeding your dog and watching a dog eat. Honestly, it gives me joy, you know, just to see how they attack it with vigor. And the truth is, you're not going to know if they're full, and here's why. It's their job to act like they're starving all the time, even though they've just eaten. Now, we used to just think it was part of their personality, but what they're starting to find is that some dogs actually have a food drive gene, meaning they are genetically inclined to act like they're hungry literally all the time.
Is that just dogs? I know humans like that too.
Yeah, we all love to eat, right?
Looking at me?
Yeah, exactly. So what I always say is, number one, take a look at your dog and get something called a body condition score, where you just look at them and say, are they fat, or are they skinny, or are they ideal, right? It's 1 to 9 or 1 to 7. If you need help, ask your vet to give your dog a body condition score. Then after that, look at trends. If they're gaining weight, you're probably giving too much. And if they're losing weight, then you're probably giving too little. Here's what's interesting. When it comes to diet and exercise for dogs, 60% is all based on diet and how they look, 40% exercise. For cats, it's 90% diet, 10% exercise. So for cats, you need to get that diet perfect to keep them slim and svelte.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, cats don't run around as much as dogs
They
do,
don't, but dogs love praise and interaction, and a lot of people interpret that as food. So give praise instead of food.
Okay, that's a great answer, Dr. Courtney. Our next question is from Shobi Rao, excuse me, in Chicago, Illinois, and she says, Dr. Courtney, my 3-year-old cat Beaumont, oh, what a great name.
I love it.
Recently stopped purring. Could he be sick?
Purring. Yeah, listen, anytime anybody's ever held a kitten, right? They're purring constantly. It's like they're a little motor and they're kneading, right? It's a wonderful feeling. But why do cats purr to begin with, right? It's their form of communication. It's almost like Morse code, where they can communicate with each other without us hearing it. So mom or the queen comes home and lets her kittens know, hey, I'm here, and she purrs, and the kittens purr back and say, hey, I'm hungry and I'm lonely, so hurry up and come back. And so they're using that constantly. In fact, some cats even purr when they're anxious, right? Kind of like people who bite their nails or give you a nervous smile. Like they'll purr when they're happy, sad, anxious, lonely. And so you can't use it as a health indicator. Here's a good way to assess if your cat's sick. Number one, pick up the skin behind your cat's shoulder blades and see if it snaps back into place. That's called skin turgor. And it's a good way to find out, is my cat dehydrated, right? And so you can use health indicators to find out, is your cat okay? Like skin turgor, vomiting, diarrhea, but purring isn't one of them.
So if it snaps back into place, the cat's fine?
Fine, hydrated. If it stays up and tense like this, your cat's dehydrated, you need to see a veterinarian.
Okay. How about that? I thought purring was only when they were happy. I mean, this is amazing stuff. Okay, next question. Krista Davis in Boulder, Colorado. Thanks for writing in, Krista. She writes, I am a new pet parent to an adorable pup named Sawyer. My first vet visit was a bit overwhelming. Do you have any tips when it comes to deciphering vet lingo, figuring out what's necessary versus what is optional? Help me out, doctor.
Well, let's congratulate Krista on being a brand new pet parent, right? That's a huge deal. It's commitment, right? So first of all, big kudos to her, but it's an exciting time, but it also can be a little anxious, right? You are going to their vet, you're speaking all this lingo, and you may not have the background for that. So the first thing I say is, if you're concerned, number one, ask. Sometimes in a busy day, we get caught up in that medical lingo and we're speaking, in the stratosphere, and you need us to bring it down to ground level. So ask, right? And we'll do that. Second, do your research. I've gotten some amazing questions from the internet, from pet parents who have done their research, and they ask me, and then it stimulates your mind because of such a good question. And then last, if you're concerned, then just get a second opinion, right? Simply say, hey, I'm concerned. I don't know what's optional. I don't know what's good or bad. Everything you're saying sounds good. Let me ask another veterinarian, and then you get 2 brains instead of 1. So I always say that if your veterinarian is recommending stuff to prevent infectious disease like parasites, ticks, fleas, things like probably a good thing. But if they're recommending stuff that's just going to make your dog or cat look good, like furry coats and
Right,
look
aesthetic stuff.
probably not the idea.
Not
Yeah,
necessary.
absolutely.
I mean,
great.
we got to make this a regular thing.
You're so
Have you
good,
come on and
Courtney.
answer some of our viewer questions. Really, I learned a lot.
Thanks,
You know, he
man, I
does have a
appreciate it.
practice that he has to get back to every once in a while.
I mean, listen, we'll talk about
We'll
it.
talk about it later.
I mean, you're on Home and Family.
Hey.
This is your practice. Come on, everybody.
Wouldn't
More
wanna be
information,
anywhere else.
go to hallmarkchannel.com, and you can follow Dr. Courtney on social media at Dr. Courtney DVM.